All right guys, so for this video I figured I'd take you guys around our fleet for residential snow management. Every one of these tractors serve their own purpose. A lot of people don't really understand why we go big, why we go small, and why we kind of found ourselves in the middle for a little while. Behind us you can see the progression. We started out back in 2022. My first tractor that I bought from Kubota is that M6 101. Obviously from there I started finding my way to the M5 111s. And then I ended up finding myself now in an L60 60, and this is kind of the chassis size that I think I'm going to keep with. There's a lot of reasons for that, and we'll talk about that when we get there. So first we're going to start down by the M6.
Just the man who's got blood all on his hands.
The M6 series in general is vastly used for agriculture. You put these things in a field, and obviously they're pigs, they can do a lot of work. We decided to deck ours out for snow management. A tractor like this, you're going to end up spending around $150,000 to get one of these on your fleet. Kubota's been great to deal with. We very evidently, with the green snowblower here, we switched some things up. Back in our spare parts kind of area of the yard, we do have Kubota inverted 92-inch snowblowers. They had their own list of problems, so we decided to buy some Norman hybrids, and around here we can only really deal with John Deere, and their blowers tend to be green. This is not a normal M6 series though, and same with every tractor you see on this fleet. You're dealing with Nokian snow tires, you're dealing with hydraulic top links, you're dealing with hydraulic accumulators on the rear, normally around 400 PSI. This one is the least kitted. Another thing that you notice going down the line is you can see us adding modifications to better improve our service. When we first bought this, the only thing we had was snow tires. That's a problem. We're still missing front ballast. You're gonna be kind of bopping every time you hit a bump, because with snow, all of your weight's on the rear. You have nothing on the front. We don't have front loaders. You're gonna see as you go down the line some more factory weight ballast kits on the front of tractors to kind of help our operators stay comfortable. The thing I noticed last winter is you need more than that. You need a hydraulic accumulator, because although your front end is now glued to the ground, your blower is banging, putting a lot of weight on your 3-point hitch, and you're gonna have a lot of pieces and components of this rear area break as a result. We deal a lot with our sway links. These break all the time. To address that, we add a hydraulic accumulator. Doesn't look the best over there. That's more of a redneck hack job, and that's another thing that you're gonna notice when you get down to the L60s. We now get them factory. We had to add these onto these units just to keep our operators safe. So we started out as well with factory lights. They aren't good. So we kind of did a little bit of a redneck hack job up there again, but they work, they light up, and they let the guys see what's behind him. Yeah, so this is pretty much the M6. Every tractor, again, we add toolboxes. These don't come on hybrids. They're not the best spot for them, if I'm being honest, guys. This area gets probably this high with snow, so when you get out of your tractor, you kind of have to beat off the ice to get into your shear bolts. Another thing that we changed this year is all the ratcheting wrenches, socket sets, stuff like that. We're going to keep them inside the cab. They like to rot out inside of there. Every year we tend to have to buy new ones. We add an ice pick shovel for clogging, and we also add some jerry cans where they're needed. So that's pretty much the M6. So we're gonna now hop up inside of the M6 series and kind of show you guys what the cab view is like, what it's like to operate it, and just basically how to go forward, how to go backwards. We're up inside the cab of our M6 series tractor. It's pretty similar, comparable to other 6 models, depending on the brand. Obviously you got your clutch, you got your brakes, you got your foot throttle. We always tell operators to keep RPMs at a certain range, run the foot throttle to go down the road. When you let your foot throttle off, you're going to be at the RPM you want to be to snow blow. Move this lever, pull your steering wheel down, you got your park brake here, dump your clutch, and you can let the highly emission diesel engine not so very much purr, because we live in Canada. Over here, you got your ranges. So basically you got high, medium, and then low. This is your plus or minus on your gear shifters. So this is how you shift up gears, how you shift down gears. You have the same thing right here. So this is one feature that they almost got right. They almost copied the command arm that John Deere had. And I'm sure Mitchell can show up a little video that I took of my 6 series right about now and show you guys just the difference between this and the John Deere. The John Deere's like took up this whole area, and you really had the ability to control like a video game what you were doing. With this, you have your RPMs here, so you can throttle up the tractor. We like to sit around this zone, so if you see right here, When you're snow blowing, you kind of want to be in between 1500 and 2000 RPMs, and that kind of lets you, I guess, snow blow. Snow blowing is a really fine sport. You need to make sure that if you're throwing the snow too quick, you're probably going to break a shear bolt. If you're throwing the snow too slow, you're going to end up clogging your blower, and you don't want to be getting in and out of your tractor all the time. A lot of the new guys find themselves always getting in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And that can lead to you kind of not liking this so much. That's why I say in that range between 1500, 2000 RPMs, keep yourself in first or second gear. You're going to have to adjust that and kind of feel the weather a little bit, but you shouldn't be clogging. This blower can pick it up, throw it. You just got to make sure you're not going either too quick or too slow. There's kind of that sweet spot in the middle. But now that the park brake's off, we're in high range, we can put it into forward, and pretty much you just let yourself off of the clutch and you're rolling. That's that simple. The beauty of this tractor is essentially you don't need to use the clutch. You can kind of see my foot. I just kind of keep my foot there because I'm used to running the M5. But I can put my foot here and I can go on this shifter straight into reverse. It's going to be jumpy. It's a little bit jumpy. That's why Mitchell just fell. So you don't got to use the clutch. It'll automatically do it. It's just a matter of getting used to it and going back and forth. So right now we'd be doing a driveway. You can run your controls here. This is crazy. I wish you guys could see this right now. There's a little bit of a majestic situation going on here to get this shot. Yeah, this is definitely worth it. Switching over to the M5 series, because it's completely mechanical, these tractors are obviously kitted out the exact same as the M6. You're going to notice there's no fender here. A lot of salt goes up on the cab, operators can't see. We started adding snow fenders and extended fenders on the rear, which Kubota listened to us and now made that part of the Nordic package, which makes our life a lot easier when we're buying them. Obviously, we have the same snowblower as the other tractor, same setup. We have the toolbox on it. This tractor sits a lot lower to the ground. If you look up on this, you can see the stack has been ripped off of this tractor. There's also holes on the roof on the driver's side that I forgot to show you. This tractor's biggest flaw when you're in a residential sense is it's too big. You're hitting trees. Most people's cars would never think about trimming those. With a tractor, they're an issue. And that also falls on us. We get paid to clear a driveway, and if we can't clear it, we got to go out and address the tree and that labor costs and everything else. So this is a way smaller footprint. You're able to get in and out and around cars and do everything that the job requires you to do without having to really worry much about trees. You get the odd one here and there. And surprisingly enough to most people, this actually packs more horsepower than this. This is a 101, this is a 111. So we have the exact same size snowblower. We can do the same job. Now, yes, people, you can get the M6 in a 145 series. You can go up and up and up in horsepower, but you're also raising that price tag. This comes in at like $10,000 or $20,000 more cost effective than the M6. The only thing is you got to know how to drive manual. This is a 24 speed. Think of it as a 6-speed, just like you're driving a car, except there's 3 different ranges and a splitter, giving you your 24 different, I guess, zones of speed. We tend to just operate them in high gear and run them as a 6-speed transmission. Only time we're gonna lower that into medium is a time like last winter on our Christmas vlog. When we're dealing with 4 or 5 feet of snow, they need to be in a lower range to get enough torque to get that snow up into the blower and back out. Overall, this tractor has done great. The biggest reason that I'm thinking about getting rid of it is just it's very beat up. Snow removal is a very abrasive sport in the equipment world. You beat up your equipment, stuff kind of gets run down pretty quickly. Try my best to stay on top of it and take care of these things. I love these tractors, but there's some operators that are no longer with us that have kind of led to some of this damage that you're seeing. Luckily, the one that I bought last year is brand new, and the only thing that's different between here and here, we still have the snow fenders. We now have a factory suitcase weight kit on the front compared to an added on little L60 series suitcase weight kit. We sold an L60 a while ago, pulled these off, custom fabbed up a bracket to be able to add at least some weight. But over there, they're a lot beefier. There's a lot more front ballast on my tractor compared to this M5, as well as just way better lighting. The same fender kits, obviously the same blower. Luckily we got one in red. I think that matches a lot better. The only biggest difference, I guess, between this one and this one is the hydraulic top link. So you can tell that this hydraulic top link is how we address gravel driveways. It allows us to adjust the pitch of a snowblower on the fly with a third function remote inside the cab, and without it, gravel driveways are kind of a pain. Anyone that knows tractors kind of knows that you have a hydraulic top link, there's splines on either side. You just kind of twist it and find the pitch of your implement that you're looking for. When you're bouncing up and down the road all the time, they like to slowly unwind. Your blower can kind of get off center, and you're gonna basically make people's driveways like a skating rink, because if it's not cutting the right way, it's gonna compact all that snow, turn to ice the next day when the sun hits it, and you get complaints and you never get to go to sleep. So that's been a great upgrade for us. Now, last but not least, what you guys saw us pick up is Little Legs. This is our tiniest tractor on the fleet. Aiden drives it. He named it Little Legs. It's the L60, and honestly, every piece of mentality that I've just shared as to why we keep changing, it's all compacted into this tractor, and I think anyone in snow removal can really agree. I know Stefano feels the same way about them, and I know everyone's probably tired of hearing people talk about them, but they are a fantastic unit. They do the job great. I started the business with one of these. I started with a B7610, went to an L3560, and might have been a 4060, but now we're here and we got a 6060. We're gonna see how it goes. There's no hydraulic top link on this one yet. As I mentioned in the previous video, that is on the way, so that's definitely going to be added. That's going to serve as our backup top link. But we have the shovel mounted, we have our auxiliary fuel. The biggest downside with these is they do not have anywhere close to the same amount of diesel capacity. So we're going to be adding those to every tractor that we get in the future, little toolbox. And other than that, it's the same story. Snow all the way around, Nordic package, ballast up front, heated mirrors, proper lighting, no more redneck hack jobs straight from the factory. And I think Kubota aced this tractor. If you can't drive this tractor, you probably shouldn't drive your car. I see some guys, I guess, getting trained to do snow removal that probably shouldn't do snow removal. This is the perfect size. I think this is a unit that you can get beginners through the door and really scale a business model, primarily because not everyone grows up in a town where they know how to run a tractor. I take that for granted sometimes. I grew up in a little town. I grew up around tractors, so for me, not understanding how to run a piece of equipment is just, it's like finding someone that doesn't know how to drive a car. The two models that I think we're gonna stick with, unless Kubota changes some features on their M6, or even if they came out with an infinitely versatile transmission like the IVTs and John Deeres, I think we're gonna be rocking with M5s, and I know we're gonna be rocking with L60s. Right now, this is not the whole fleet. We still have the truck there that we're putting a salter into to add salting as a service, maybe another truck with a salter in it as well, depending on phone calls. And we have a couple more tractors on the way. Might be getting John Deeres. These are really good, hardly used units, fully equipped for snow, that are just half the price of one L60, and 2 for 1 is just at the point where I don't know if I can pick sides anymore. But by and large, I'm excited to see how the M5 performs compared to the L60. How much can an L60 really do compared to an M5? You're dealing with two different road speeds. One's topping out at 24 kilometers an hour, and the other's gonna be topping out around 38 kilometers an hour. I want to know what's the big win, what's the big loss, and do those two equal out to happy customers. If we get the 4 Series, it'd be great to see this up against the 4 Series. And yeah, we're going to be honest. A lot of people had complaints about how we perceived our experience at the snow convention that we attended, and we're just here to talk about what we notice in the industry, in the field, what equipment works best. We're not trying to be biased. We don't have any sponsors. If I'm going to talk about equipment, I'm going to tell you guys what I think works and what I think doesn't, and why, regardless of the color of paint.
This is Little Legs. This is my tractor. This is the one I'll be rocking this winter. Obviously, you get in. You got your brake pedal here, but it has a parking brake. So all you do is just push it on, off. Throttle's over here. Your reverse is there. This is where you lift the blower, drop the blower. These two are for your auger, and then this one is for your throttle. I mean, it's new. I haven't ran it this winter, so I don't know exactly what it's going to be like yet. Hopefully it'll be better than the one I ran last year. That one was a little special. Also, your PTO's right here, so you just push it on, and then when you want it off, just tap it, and you're good to go. Then you're on to your next driveway. Yeah. That's Little Legs for you. Little Legs was my idea because, you know, smallest tractor in the fleet, and it's the slowest. So I thought it was funny to put Little Legs on the window.
This is our snow fleet. We just wanted to get a video up for you guys, kind of show you guys around. We're going to be staking driveways starting next week, so that'll be great. We're going to have some marketing pumping. Sales are going through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. So I guess we'll pick you guys up on the next one, and before you know it, we're going to be blowing snow. Thanks.